Hello, and welcome to Givehub. Today we're going to be covering your back office training. This is just a general overview of your back office. Some elements of your back office will control the front-end display of your online giving page, as well as the front-end display of the Samsung device. Some elements of the back office is where you will be able to pull your reporting. So transaction history reports, check-in, check-out, year-end giving statements, etc. And you'll be able to create events that you want to share to your website if you like, or events that you can share from the Samsung tablet. And this all happens from within the back office. Prior to the start, or when you received the email that contained this training video, you should have received a link to access your back office, a username, and a password. So that's what we're looking at on screen now. I'm actually in my test account, TestDPX. I have a username and password, and I'm going to go ahead and sign in. When we first log into the back office, we land on the main dashboard. You have your navigation toolbar at the top of the screen. When you hover over some of the areas, you'll see some drop-down selections. Under these menu items, you have your shortcut buttons. If you hover over any of these icons, help text will appear. That lets you know where you'll be redirected to if you were to click on any of those particular icons. Under the overview section of your dashboard, you have total donor users, total events, total event users. Total donor user is the number of people that have donated to date. Total events are the number of events that have been created within your back office. Total event user, these are the numbers of attendees or registrants that have signed up for an event that you created. In the center of the screen, you have a dashboard graph. This is just a visual representation of the donations that you receive month over month. So once the $1 donation mark is received, the graph will begin to populate with data. There is no way to export the data from the dashboard graph. This is meant just to be a visual representation and to provide you with an at-a-glance view of how your donations are trending month over month. All of the main reports will always come from the Reports tab of your back office. Down below the dashboard graph, you kind of have a snapshot provided for you. The snapshot provides an at-a-glance view of who has donated most recently. Again, full details of any transactions that have occurred will be found within the Reports tab, and the report that you select under this drop-down selection. In the top right of your dashboard, you have a 5-color selection palette. The color changes once clicked. So this is administrative facing only. This is just meant to be a personal preference of what color you want to see when you log into your back office. This is not forward facing, so no donors or members will be able to see your back office or the color that you make, the color selection that you make on this page. Settings. That's found in the top right section. I'm going to go ahead and navigate there now. The settings area controls some user-facing features of the donation kiosk as well as some back office features. Most of the fields in the settings section will not need to be updated. They are created at the time that the organization's back office is built. We do recommend that you add a logo. We provide recommended image requirements, 270 by 220 in either a JPEG or PNG format. The logo that you select will appear in the top left corner of the back office. It will also appear in the top left corner of your Samsung tablet as well as your online giving page. By default, the logo selection is no, so what you'll want to do when you navigate to the settings section to update your logo is select yes. You'll click the select logo button, and then you'll locate the image that's desired, click open. Once the image populates into that space, you'll scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page and click Save. Your domain. So I'm still in the settings area of your back office. If I scroll all the way down, I'll see an area here that says your domain. Your domain is the link that will be used to access your back office. I always recommend clients take this, put it in a web browser, and bookmark it. Upload picture. The upload picture feature here, again, by default, it will be selected on no. You'll want to say yes. This controls the background image that displays on the user-facing donation screen from the kiosk and or the online view. So this image is directly related to the background image on both the Samsung device as well as your online giving page. Select font color. Select font color controls the front display text on the user-facing donation screen at the kiosk or online. One thing to note is contrast. So, for example, if you are using a dark background, then you don't want your font color to be black, because then you'll have dark on dark text, and you need to have a different color to provide contrast. So if this was a dark image, then I'd want to change my font color to something light in nature. So all you have to do is just click that little box, scroll around in the palette here, and then click OK. And that's going to change the color to provide that contrast that's needed. Scroll all the way down to the bottom of the screen and click Save. And to explain where this text is located on the front end display, that's this text that you see here, right under the donation box. Text to give category name. If you have the text to give product, this controls the default category for donors who text to give a donation. The scenario might be a special scenario in which this could be used if you're using a text to give product is if you have a special speaker or a special fundraiser, then you can share with your audience text keyword food drive GH to the short code and make a special donation for this cause. And anyone who texts to give a donation that day may actually make a donation to the category that you created and selected here. Again, that only applies to people who have our text to give product. Event visibility and naming. These fields control the text displays for the 4 buttons on the user-facing donation screen from the kiosk and or online. This text can be customized. So you have events, life groups, volunteers to provide a visual. That information is found here in the top right. You have events, the events header, life groups header, volunteers. You can change the text of events, life groups, and volunteers as well from the settings section of your back office. You'll just locate the event visibility and naming section, and then you'll just overwrite or replace the text to what is desired. So that could say connect, this might say small groups, and this may say church bookstore. Other visibility settings. An organization can decide what appears on the front-end display of the donation kiosk screen and or online by checking and unchecking the box next to the feature. Many organizations will choose to uncheck Show Guest if their goal is to build a member database as well as capture donor information for year-end giving statements. That's this feature here, Show the Guest option. This is important to note that for those who choose to donate as a guest, you will have no contact information available for that particular donation. If someone donates as a guest, take me back to the main dashboard where we saw a snapshot of the most recent donations. If someone donates as a guest, there's no way for us to capture a first and last name. So in this space where you see username, that field will be blank for guest donations. If it is important for you as an organization to capture donor information to provide someone with a statement at the end of the year, I recommend navigating the settings, scrolling down to other visibility settings, and unchecking the Show Guest option. On the front-end display to explain what that does is when someone chooses to give, they enter a donation, they select their fund, they determine whether or not they want to include additional amount, they determine whether or not they like to make the donation recurring if you have that feature turned on. On this page, at this point, they'll be asked to sign in if they already have an account created. They'll be asked to sign up now, and this continue as a guest feature will be hidden. Right now, this feature is available, which means if I continue as a guest and complete this donation, I can send myself a copy of the donation that I've made, but in the back office, you will not have any record of me as a member because I did not create a member account, and you won't know who donated. Edit recurring, this option is not available yet, but in the near future, donors that set up recurring subscriptions will be able to manage the recurring subscriptions on the front end. And we're going to talk about this a little bit later during this training session. But as it is right now, if someone chooses to make their donation recurring, if they need to update their card number, if they need to update the frequency at which they're donating or amount, that will all be done on the administrative side. There's no way to update that on the member or user-facing side, but that feature is coming soon. So again, we're in the settings section of the back office. I'm going to scroll all the way down until I see first-time guest autoresponder, we do recommend organizations set up a customized email for member engagement. Upon registering, if the donor selects first-time guest and they check that first-time guest box, they're going to receive whatever customized message you've placed here, welcoming them or thanking them for joining. Emails can be created as plain text, as well as HTML. If you have someone who's familiar with creating a custom-based HTML email template, they'll simply click source, and then they can write in the HTML code. To activate the first-time guest email, you're going to select yes, scroll down to the bottom, and click save. And just to provide a front-end visual, when someone clicks sign in and they click sign up now, it's this box here that first-time guest email will be sent if they choose the first-time guest checkbox. Header text and memo field. Header text appears above the memo field on the front-end display of the kiosk as well as online, and that can be customized. So thank you for your donation. That's related to this section here. Thank you for your donation. The memo field text appears below the header text field on the front-end display from kiosk and online. This can also be customized. So by default, your front-end display may say memo optional. What I've done is I've watermarked this memo field to say enter your email for your year-end giving statement. This is kind of a workaround for those organizations that would like to offer people the option to donate as a guest, but yet encourage them to enter some type of information so they can attribute their contribution to a name or an email address. I have some clients that change this text to this, enter your email for a year-end statement. I have some clients that say enter your full name for a year-end contribution statement. Anything along those lines is fine. To change the header text or the memo field watermark, it's here under One Page Giving Custom Text in the settings section of your back office. You would just type over and replace whatever information is desired in either of those fields, scroll down to the bottom and click Save. The additional amount settings. So on my test account, I have everything enabled by default. When you first log into your back office and navigate to settings, everything is actually going to be unchecked. Explain what these different checkbox options mean. If you click Enable Fee, that's going to turn the additional amount pop-up on, both on the kiosk as well as online. Allowing the fee waiver is going to turn it on, but by default, it will be off. So to give you the front-end visual, if someone goes to make a donation, they select their fund, this is what they will see if these two boxes are selected. They'll see the additional amount box and their total donation amount, the additional amount 4%, but by default, the fee waiver is going to be enabled to off. If you want the default in which donors will see the additional amount automatically applied, you're going to check the third box, Fee Included by Default. Scroll down to the bottom and click Save, and now you're going to have the additional amount automatically applied, and for those who do not want to include the additional amount, they're going to check off and click Next. You can change the rate at which you set your additional amount. In my test account, I have it set to 4%, but you can choose 1, 1.5, or 3%. You can choose to change the additional amount verbiage as well. By default, I have please consider adding an additional amount to help cover fees, but you can call it a convenience fee or anything along those lines. And just to give you a visual, that's where that text appears. So you can change that text to however you see fit. Okay, that is everything from within the settings section that we need to cover from your back office.